Hello, I'm Charles Gross.
And I'm Leslie Hoban. Welcome to the Critic Circle. This morning, we're going to have with us another guest reviewer, and I'm very pleased, and I'm always pleased, but I'm particularly pleased this morning because she's also a dear and cherished friend. Perri Gaffney is an actor who has become a writer and a producer and a podcaster, and has been successful at every single one of those efforts. She turned her own novel, The Resurrection of Alice, into an award-winning solo show, which she's taken all over the country. Perri is here with us this morning to review Skeleton Crew by Dominque Morrisseau. She and Charles got to see it. I, of course, didn't. So guys, go to it, and I'll come back later. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about the play I haven't been able to see.
This is a play that's been directed by Ruben Santiago Hudson, who has had a very busy season. He was on stage in Lackawanna Blues a little earlier this season. Now he's directing Skeleton Crew, which is a really excellent show. It did remind me a bit of Lynn Nottage's Sweat, although it's actually takes place in the factory. Sweat, you never see anybody in the factory. A lot more camaraderie amongst the cast members. Before each scene, we have a lovely pantomime and rap preceding it, which really, I think, sets the tone very nicely. But Perri, you've seen other productions. You've actually been in productions of this show.
Yes, I have. I saw, I believe it was the original production, also directed by Ruben Santiago Hudson, at the Atlantic Theater. And then I was, and that was, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And then I was in a production in Denver, Colorado, and then another one in Westport, Connecticut. Both of those were in 2019. Right before the pandemic. I love Dominque Morrisseau as a writer, and particularly this play because it is still so apropos to the times that we're living in. This is a factory, auto factory that has been shut down. It's shutting down because jobs are being sent overseas, and that is still the case in not just the auto industry, but in so many things. America has become consumers instead of producers.
But I think even if you take the relevance out of the picture, you have these great characters. You mentioned you played Faye. Well, Phylicia Rashad is now playing the role. She does it very nicely. But it really, the cast just comes together so beautifully in an ensemble. I think it's really great performances. And although they're not always on the same side, they are always there for each other. And that's a nice thing. I think that's a nice thing to see.
Absolutely. They've made a small family of themselves, the workers. They really are a type of family. Faye is the oldest person and really motherly in a way. And it's so wonderful to see Phylicia Rashad in a role that you just I wouldn't have thought of, because she was Claire Huxtable. That's how I think of her. And so now you see her.
Sure. This is a very different character. There is a sign in the in the lunchroom, in the meeting room, no smoking, Faye. That's put on by the boss. He is trying their immediate manager. He's trying to hold everything together, and they're giving him a very hard time of it. You know, Faye's character is also the union representative. She's the senior person there. Although she's also kind of a bad girl, I think. You know, she'll smoke, she'll be in there after hours for reasons that I don't want to get to ruin the surprise. But she sometimes she's there to have fun. Sometimes things are going wrong, and she's trying to fix it or deal with it as best we can.
And although she's the union rep, she's very good friends and almost the mother of the management. And so there's that conflict within herself and what she can and cannot do in order to serve the workers. And
well, that's Ken, and he's trying to balance. You know, he's got people to answer to. He's trying to be there, you know, for the people under him. It's a little reminiscent of Sweat, I think, in many ways, But here, it's a bit calmer, and people are more there for each other, willing to sacrifice themselves for each other while still holding their ground. And how did you like the mime sequences at the beginning and during the play?
I absolutely adored him. He's representing the workers and the machinery, and his movement was magical. Just absolutely an element that was not in the script, but it just added flavor and color and a dimension that other productions might not have. And the visuals that they projected over the stage, just beautiful.
Was this in other productions, or is this something special that we're getting?
It was in Ruben's first production at the Atlantic Theater Company, but I've never heard of it in others. It was not in Denver. In Denver, we did have moving and still images of factory workers and people coming to work in the parking lot, and you see how there are only a few cars because it's just a skeleton crew working, and there were machinery sounds, but that was it. And then in Westport, we didn't have the visuals of factory, but you heard the sounds of the factory and the way they played, because this is taking place in the factory, but it's the factory break room, so you don't actually see the machinery.
You don't actually see them working, but
right. But you heard it, and the lights change to show night, day, quiet, top of the day
on the premises. How did you like the rest of the cast?
Everyone was just wonderful. I thought the love between the two younger people, and I don't want to give the story away, but they, they play it not liking each other or trash.
Well, it's the typical "I love you," "I hate you," "Oh, I love you." And she is very noticeably pregnant. He is not the father. We don't really know too much what happened to the father, but we know she's a very talented machinist, and we know that he is, for lack of a better word, the rebel. He's the one who's always getting into trouble, even more so than Faye. And there's this one very good scene when it comes down to what is the boss going to do? I think Ken is the name of the boss. What is he going to do? He finds something that could be a serious career-ending violation, and how is he going to handle it? That's certainly one of the high points of the play.
I love that she is pregnant and it's not his child, and yet he is very supportive and apparently doesn't care. He would be the father to that child. He would be very supportive of her. I love that. We don't have that enough in life. There's Shantae Adams. She's the young girl. Joshua Boone. He's the young man. Brandon Durden. He's the supervisor. Adesala Osakalumi. He's the dancer.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. And Phylicia Rashad.
Right. But all in all, this really comes together beautifully, well directed, well written, well acted, excellent ensemble. And in conclusion, 1 to 5 playbills, 5 being amazing, 1 being don't bother. I'm going to give this 4 playbills.
I give it 4.5.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Very good.
Those are very good scores. I can't thank you enough for being here. I wish I had been able to see your Faye. That would have been a treat and a half for me. Not close enough to home, but you did manage to do both coasts. We can watch clips of your past performances on Perri Tales. I assume that rhymes with fairy tales, and it's PerriTales.com, Perri Tales. And you have a show on NUNU Radio. You said, please spell that out, so I did. It's every Thursday at 7 and every Sunday at 1, where you share original stories and poetry. So we can find you in several places. And it's just been a joy. Thank you so much for being with us, Perri Gaffney. Love you to pieces, and maybe we'll be able to have you back for something else.
Absolutely. Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure.
Eat, work, repeat, eat, work, sleep, repeat. Wake up in the morning to the sound of the alarm. Got 35 minutes to be gone. Press for time, pressing my clothes, pressing on. Lesson one, get it even if you had to get it wrong. Cause in the city they living without no pity. None of this shit is pretty. What you waiting on, a titty? Wanna eat, then you better go fishing, go hunting, go digging. A new religion, we living in times where computers automate our assembly lines, where they praise the criminals but denounce the crime, and social security already declined. Fighting to make a product that's cheaper than overseas, just to keep the heat on, hoping we don't freeze. No trickle down, keeping us at the bottom. So what we supposed to do in order to make a profit? Eat, work, sleep, repeat, eat, work.